hello everyone. It has been numerous months. Welcome back to Tavern Talks, a try-hard tavern Discord podcast. Tonight I am joined by my friends Jkkayy and Sauce. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing? What have you been up to? Tell me everything. Give me all the juicy details.
I've been busy going 6-0 in APDL season 10.
Okay.
My
We're gonna
gosh,
do that.
no.
Yeah, and I'm busy
It's
going
gonna get
4-2 and
season-
missing playoffs. It's fine.
It's so bad.
It's
I'm
all,
so sorry.
it's all good. Well, we'll talk about all things draft league tonight. We did an episode similar many moons ago where we talked about our favorite memories from the draft league we do, but tonight's kind of just gonna be like a little bit of like an open forum. We're just gonna talk about whatever we want that comes to mind. We'll kind of just bounce ideas off of each other, generate a little hype for playoffs for season 10 here. Can't believe we've been doing this for like 3 years, by the way.
Huge.
And yeah, we'll just kind of dip through everything. So it's not going to be as formal as it has in the past. I came unprepared, but I just kind of wanted to do an episode. So we're going to skip a lot of the other sections. I'm going to skip kind of right through Discord server news because there's literally nothing, and I've let the Olympics die.
Sorry about Tavern Night.
No, I was gonna say we haven't had a tavern night in a while either. It's just kind of a chaotic time of the year, So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured we give August.
eventually we'll get back to both of those things at some point. As far as the Olympics are concerned, I vastly underestimated how difficult it is to get even like 8 to 10 people together on a single night. So it's been a challenge to say the least, but we'll see what happens. And Tavern Nights, I'm sure, will eventually come back in full force too. But that's pretty much it as far as like really big updates. So we can just crank right into trivia with the two of you guys. So since we're doing draft league episode today, everything is going to be themed after Arc's Pokemon Draft League, APDL. And I have 8 questions here, so 4 for each of you. Or we can kind of bounce back and forth. So I will let you guys decide amongst yourselves who would like to go first.
I'll defer and let the Canadian.
Well, actually, a few of these questions will be like within a range, so I'll let both of you answer,
Okay.
and whoever
right.
gets it.
Okay. I
we'll
like
do it. So let's start with question number 1. Okay, without cheating, by the way.
Okay.
Keep those browsers closed for all of this. All right. Okay.
Yep.
So, question number 1. I'll let each of you guess. Garrett can guess first. How many people have participated in Arc's Pokemon Draft League over 10 seasons?
The number's changed.
The number has changed.
The last time this has been at.
We started at 8, and now the number is much different than 8. So I'll let Garrett think for a few seconds and then give me an answer. And whoever's closer will get the point for the question.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 29.
29. Okay.
Yeah.
Josh, what is your guess?
It's definitely a lot, but I don't think it's quite 29. I'm gonna go with 23.
23. The correct answer is 28.
Wow.
28. So Garrett's going to get the first point. But yes, 28 people over
That's
the course
crazy.
of 3 years. So I'll name Discord names just rapid fire. Arc, Jkkayy, Sauce, Lanky Paul, Silverhammer, Charlos, Dolan, J Drizzy, Link, CatFox1987, Measly, Jackson, Dinosaur Damage, Gengar, Edol, Wilfie, Frozen, and Gingle. Or whatever he's called now. X Apotheosis, Quick Kill, Forehead, Purple Panda, Winglings, Hoop 99, Alx, Rotmiboka, Oval, and Raven Lee. 28 people.
That's incredible.
over the last 3 years have decided to give it at least one season a try. So it's been really fun.
That's awesome. I can remember each of them too, like their games and like their play styles. I don't know.
We've come a very long way in the 3 years that we've been doing it, for sure. Okay. All right. So for this next question, there are 9 possible answers, and you can take turns answering the question. You'll get a point for each time you get one correct. Okay. So for question number 2, we'll start with Josh this time.
Okay.
Name all of the 8. Well, we'll start with season 1. Name all of the APDL runner-ups in order.
Oh no! In order?
In order. So I'll give you a point for getting the person right, and I'll also give you a point if you get the team name right.
Oh my gosh, you guys change your team names every season.
So some of these are freebies, but some of them are a little bit more difficult. So Josh, we'll start with you.
Funny.
You can pick any season, but once that season's been answered, you can't answer it.
So season 2
Yeah.
was DJ.
Correct. So you get a point there. Do you remember what his team name was?
I do not.
You do not? No guesses?
No guess. No, I don't.
I want to
Okay.
steal.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let Garrett have an answer for what
Yep.
the team name was. Garrett, do you remember?
Okay, I just remember this was one of his names. I'm just gonna go with Laughlin Laurantis.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
So I'll get some archives going here since I've done that. So in season 2, Laughlin Laurantis were the runner-ups, losing to Jkkayy in the finals. They finished with a record of 7-4. Okay. So season 2 is out. Garrett, over to you.
Okay.
Okay, well, runner up, I will go with season 5
Uh-huh.
was the runner up was Hoop 99,
That's 1.
and his team name was the Bumbling Badoofs, I want to say.
Correct. That is good for 2 points there. Okay, so season 2 and season 5 are done. Josh, back to you.
Oh god. I'm gonna say. Man, this is so hard.
You guys gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
For me, like some of these answers are like really easy, but that's only because I'm the one that does all of the stuff.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I do all the data entry, like make all the like. So I have this like committed to memory. Like I can rattle off names pretty easy.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely.
But it's been a few years, so some of these might not be as cut and dry as the others.
So okay, if I'm thinking back.
There's seasons 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
One of them should be like pretty self-explanatory, seeing as it happened like a month or 2 ago.
Right. So in that case, like your season 9, if I do remember right, it was Noah who got second place.
Correct. What was my team name?
Oh shit!
You don't remember? Oh, so sad.
No. It was fuck your.
I know this one. I know this one.
Your mascot was an Arcadian Avalanche.
Correct. That's 2 points for Josh.
Oh my
All right. Okay, back to
Wow.
Garrett. Seasons 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 are left.
Season 8, runner up was Hoop Mighty Moonducks.
Garrett's just keeping tabs on the people he's beaten.
I was gonna say I want to say Garrett for so many of these, but he won 4. of them,
So
didn't he?
Garrett, you got Hooper right, but you got his team name wrong. So Josh, it was not Mighty Moonducks in season 8. Josh, do you remember what the team name was?
Was it Bumbling Badoofs?
That it was Bumbling Badoofs.
It
That
was
was
the Badoofs,
I was
okay.
before he changed the team name.
Right. Okay. forgot when.
Yep. So you split points there. Back to Josh. 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7 left.
Oh God. Okay,
Remember,
so
you
season-
can have one hint at any point during trivia, so I can tell you what the format was for the season or something
Sure.
of that nature.
Sure.
Or I'll give you a hint for the person or the team name.
So, okay. I'm gonna go. Can I have a hint for season 6?
Season 6. Season 6 was the season that we did Little Cup.
Okay. Yep.
Garrett won that season.
Oh God, but who did he play?
Who did he play against? It was Little Cup. It was also against another team that was in his division. They played in the regular season as well. And they
action.
Yep, they split games. The runner-up won the regular season game, and then Garrett won in the finals.
Frick. Let's go Peyton?
Peyton, and then team name. What do you think?
Jamestown Jolteons.
Both of those answers are incorrect.
Ah, damn it.
Okay, Garrett, what do you have?
It was you.
It was me. Yes, it was
Oh,
me.
shit.
You won because of a shadow sneak on Grimer.
Do you
Yeah,
remember what my
that
team name was?
ponytail.
The
I just remember
ponytail,
he had
yeah.
a cracked ponytail.
Mhm.
That thing was crazy. But it was the World Island Whoopers.
Yep, that's 2 points for Garrett. Whirl Island Whoopers. That was a fun
was a cool
season.
team.
Little Cup was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Garrett finished 8-1. I was the only team to beat him that season. I finished 7-2. And Josh finished 7-1 in third place, actually.
Yeah, your
Oh,
team
damn.
was nuts. You had the Pancham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
thing was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so Garrett stole the points there, and it is back to Garrett now. So seasons 1, 3, 4, and 7 are left.
Season 1 was me, Kalamazoo Raichu.
Yep, sure was. Okay. Garrett gets 2 points there. Okay, Josh, back to you. Season 3, 4, and 7.
Okay, so then if season 6 was not Peyton, season 7 was Peyton, Jamestown Jolteons.
That is correct. That was the
Yeah.
season that I won the Scuffed Doubles League. But yes, that is correct.
I was like, Peyton played in a championship not too long ago, but I couldn't remember which season it was.
All right, seasons 3 and 4 are left. Back to Garrett.
Oh,
Season
God.
3, Kalamazoo Raichu.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
Yep. That was season 3 when we did Gen 8 VGC. Garrett lost to DJ in the finals. DJ finished that season 9-0. Didn't lose a single game.
Nice.
All right, season 4 is the last one, Josh.
Oh, God. Okay, so season 4 was... I already used my hint, didn't I? Season
Think
4.
back.
Um,
It was a really fun format. I really liked it.
I'm gonna say... Oh, God. Who haven't we...
This one's a little more obscure.
Yeah. I'd say... I'm gonna go Quincy.
Quincy. Okay, and what was his team name?
Well, I don't think he's ever been anything except the Gallivanting Gallades, right?
It depends. Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
You are correct that it was Quincy. You are incorrect on his name. Quincy's actually had 3 different team names.
Oh, he has? Oh, no.
Garrett, do you remember what the team name was?
I have it written down, but I'm not looking at it. I can't forget. I can't remember right now. We're just gonna go with. No, I don't have it.
Okay, cool.
The Grambles.
So, no.
The Grambles.
Josh will get a point there. It was the Laddie Daddies.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Uh-huh. And his first team name in seasons 2 and 3 was the Bug Catchers, if you can remember that far back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll do point updates at the end. Well, let's see. So Garrett has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points. And Josh has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. So it's 7 to 11. So Josh, we will start with you.
Okay.
This will be a 2-point question. Both of these next two will be a 2-point question. Okay. And I'll actually let's split it up. Okay, first question then. Which player has the best win rate in APDL history?
Oh, no.
Oh, this one's tough.
Do playoffs count?
Yes. Every single game is recorded for this.
Yeah, then it's got to be Garrett because he's made it to the championship game 4 times. So,
but getting
more
there,
than that.
Doesn't necessarily mean best win rate.
No, I know, but like I just like quantity wise.
Sure.
I want to say it's Garrett.
Okay. So that is correct. We'll give you a point.
Nice.
Now, both of you get a chance to answer this part of the question. Whoever gets closest to the win percentage gets another point.
Okay.
So
68.
I'll let 68 for Josh. Garrett, what's your answer?
Is this like, where's this data pulled from? Like most recent?
This is all the way up through season 9.
Through season 9?
Mm-hmm.
Can I change my answer actually?
I'll allow it.
I want to go to 72.
72? Okay.
Yeah.
Garrett, what's your answer?
I'm going to say 78.
78. So Garrett is going to get the point for that. Garrett, you were actually really close. Yeah. Garrett's win rate across 9 seasons is 77.3%. Garrett, your overall record is 58 wins and 17 losses.
That's wild.
That is crazy. But I'll toss in a sweetener. I'll let both of you answer because I don't think either one of you are ever going to get the answer right. Who's number 2?
Oh, I got this. It's Peyton. No. It's not. It's not him. It's not him. It could be him, but it's not. He has a good win rate. It's actually, I remember this because I looked, and it's probably the same. Wait, second? Wait,
who's second?
I feel like it was Gengar. He had a nuts win rate. It was like 80% or something. I don't know. That's gonna be my final answer.
How many games of a sample size is it?
It does not matter.
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. It's just pure win rate.
Oh, that's so mean though.
It's like, just pure win rate.
Yeah, like
you can answer whatever you like, Josh. You can pick somebody different. You could go for the same answer. You could do anything.
Well, I'm not gonna pick the same answer because number one, I wouldn't have guessed that anyway.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna like act like I knew it. I'll say me.
You?
Yeah.
Garrett is correct. It is Colin, aka Gengar, at 75%. 6-2, baby. 6-2.
That's
going down the list a little bit. Silver Hammer's third with 68.2%. He's 43, 18-2. I am fourth with a record of 50, 23-1. Hooper is fifth with a 67.5% win rate. It's 27-13. And then Josh, you're sixth with a record of 47-24 at 66.2%. Mm-hmm.
10 seasons of sample size. Weighs on you.
Okay.
I'm not good at doubles. That's my downfall.
Yeah.
I can't play doubles to save my life.
Since Josh is trailing here. All right, Josh. The flip side of the question, who has the worst win rate?
The worst win rate?
The worst win rate, and then I'll both let you guess the percentage.
I know this one.
Well, is it?
I can't wait to say it.
This one's a bit of a doozy.
So like there were people who played for just one season and were really bad.
Okay, well,
Um,
we don't need to.
or not really bad. They just did not have a good season. Fudge. I will go with. I'll go with Dolan.
Dolan. Okay, that answer is incorrect. Garrett, you have a chance to steal.
It's Frozen with 0-1 at June.
Yeah, yep,
No
it sure
way.
He
is.
lost one game and dipped.
Yep, he lost a single game and then
Wow.
dropped out. I do remember that. Yep, 0 and
No,
1.
it was. What was it? It's because we had like 16 teams, or I don't know. It was.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
dropped, and then I think we filled his place with somebody else. I don't remember. I'm not positive on that, but yes, the answer is Frozen. Frozen, if you're ever listening to this, we love you. All right, so we're halfway through. Question number 5. Josh is still trailing, so we'll defer to him again. All right,
Yep.
another one. We have 2 more numbers questions and 2 more fun questions. So, which player? We're splitting the gap now. Has finished at 500. So has finished with the same amount of wins as losses in a season. Who has done that the most times? Who's finished at 500 the most times? This could be anybody.
This is such a tough question.
It's a
I'm gonna
very
go
difficult one.
I'm gonna go with.
Clock's
Sean.
ticking. Sean?
Oh, that was gonna be.
That is correct. Yes,
Nice.
Likey
That's
Paul.
awesome.
Likey Paul has finished at 500 the most amount of times. I'll give you a bonus point, Josh, if you can tell me how many times he's finished at 500. He's played. So this is up through season 9.
Yep.
The only season he did not play in was season 7. So this is out of 8 seasons. How many times did he finish at 500?
6.
Garrett, a chance to steal. That is incorrect.
Oh man. Not this season. Sorry. We'll just go 6, I guess.
Isn't that what Josh said?
Oh right.
It sure is, but you nope. He said
no,
nope.
no take backsies.
You do it.
Okay.
We'll do
Uh,
5 or 6. I don't know.
The correct answer is 4 times, and he did it 4 times in a row, actually.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Whoa.
Season 4, he was 4-4. Season 5, he was 4-4. Season 6, he was 3-3, and then he skipped a season. And then season 8, he was also 3-3.
Amazing.
So,
Consistency.
Sean, you
There
are
we go.
consistent, my guy. Let's go. So Josh gets a point there, and we'll let Garrett answer this next one, or we'll let you both answer it. But Garrett will get first dibs. Okay.
Sure.
What is the most amount of participants we've had in a singular season?
18.
18 is correct. It was 18 teams in season 6. That was wild. I can't believe
That
we
was
had 18
awesome.
people. That was real crazy. A bit hard to make a schedule for, but not too bad. Not
Worth
too
it.
bad. All right, cool. Now these last 2 questions are a little on the fun side. So the first one is specifically for Garrett.
Okay.
It'll be a 50-50 question, basically. You either get it right or you get it wrong. You played a game against the Letterkenny Lanterns in season 6 in Little.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, this is season 5. Season 5 against the Letterkenny
Right.
Lanterns. Which of these 2 sets did you run that week for the game?
Okay.
Did you run Choice Banded Sneasel with Ice Punch, Pursuit, Punishment, and Low Kick? Or did you run Life Orb Clefable with Wish, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Calm Mind?
Ooh. Oh man.
Had to do a little digging through the old YouTube archives for this one.
Oh man. I think I probably went with the Clefable.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, we'll go with Clefable.
That answer is incorrect. You
Gosh.
actually ran Choice Banded Punishment Sneasel against the Lanterns. So
Damn,
no points, unfortunately, there.
that was a fun question.
Yeah. And Josh,
I love
same theme for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In the APDL Season 2 Championship game,
Okay.
did you use Life Orb Kingdra with Waterfall, Outrage, Flip Turn, and Body Slam? Or Choice Specs Kingdra with Surf, Hurricane, Draco Meteor, and Ice Beam?
Oh, it was 100% specs.
Is that your final answer?
No. Shit. Trying to think. What was the physical set?
Waterfall, Outrage, Body Slam, and Flip Turn. With a Life
I
Orb.
think I actually ran. I ran the special set.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
That answer is correct. You did,
Yeah.
in fact, run the Choice Spec set. So
Yeah. I
congratulations
was like,
there.
I'm pretty sure I just clicked surf and won.
Yeah.
I seem to remember DJ getting a little unlucky that game and being a bit salty about it. But
Hey, a
a
win's
win is
a
a
win,
win.
my guy.
Okay, so Josh, you finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Garrett, you finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points. So Garrett wins trivia this time
Nice.
around.
Well done,
Congratulations.
Garrett. Good job.
But yeah,
Thank
so
you,
that
thank you.
was a fun little deep dive into the archives to set up our topic, which is just a little APDL press conference. It's pretty much just going to be, I mean, we're just going to transition into it right away. It's just going to be kind of an open forum for us to just kind of talk about Draft League. And, you know, we could talk about where it's from, like if Garrett or Josh have any questions for me, like on future seasons and ideas, or like any inspirations, or just kind of want like the backstory or any of the details that went into any of the seasons or anything like that. So we could just kind of take turns if you want, and if we have anything off the top of our head, we could just kind of ask questions of each other. So like we could just go a round table, like you and Garrett can both ask me a question, then we'll ask Josh a question, then Garrett, and so on, and we can kind of just go as long as we think about it, if that is fine with you guys. So
Sure.
I got one right away.
Okay, all right. Actually, you know what? You could just ask a question of anybody. It doesn't have to be a specific person, or it can be whatever you feel.
For this is just random, just to
Yeah.
get things going. The logo. What made you go with Kyogre?
So I mean, it's not a very exciting story, right? Because it's Ark's Pokemon Draft League, right?
Right.
So I needed something that kind of embodied the whole Ark theme. So Ark's obviously a big boat, so water, right?
Right.
And so I was kind of just scouring. I probably just clicked in a YouTube or like a Google search bar, like water type Pokemon logo, and I scrolled through. I looked at a few. I think I looked at like a Gyarados logo or like some other stuff, but the Kyogre one seemed really cool, and I could also fit the Arc at the top left of it as well. And you know, I joined another draft league these last couple of weeks called the MBA, and their logo's an Umbreon like reaching for the moon and stuff. It's really really cool. So I was like, we've been doing this for 10 seasons and we don't have a logo. Like, it's actually kind of crazy that I didn't do it for so long, but that's the power of Canva Premium.
Shout out if you don't.
Yeah,
sponsor it.
sponsored by Canva for this episode. But yeah, no, I just kind of whipped something up in Canva. The logo looked really nice. I could fit the boat in the top left corner, and it just kind of stuck. People seem to like it though. I think it looks pretty nice. So yeah, that's the story behind the logo creation. Really thoughtful
Riveting.
process, wasn't it? But
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I made that, and then I went and I redid all of those tiny little graphics for all the champions, which I thought were pretty nice too. So yeah, it's a good question to start. It's a fun, quick and easy. I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
So we for every season except one, obviously, it's a draft league, and that involves what I would argue is one of the most fun parts of the season, which is actually drafting Pokemon. So I'm curious, like, when you guys go into a season, when you go into a draft, do you like prepare in any kind of way for like a draft? Do you like make a list of things that you would like, or kind of go for like specific strategies? Like what's the draft prep process like, or do you just kind of wing it and pick as you go? So like you could use like next season as an example if you want to, because I know Josh has been looking at the season 11 tier list a little bit. So
Sure.
you don't have to give like too much away if you don't want to, obviously. But yeah, I just want to know what your guys' process is, like your thought process when you go into a draft, and kind of how you build a team.
Cool. Garrett, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I can go like a little bit.
Mhm.
At least for me, obviously not like the rolling pack drafts, but the regular style snake drafts where it's one Pokemon at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah, initially right off the bat, I try and grab probably like the one or two Pokemon that I want to like maybe build around.
Mhm.
And then lots of the time, like I don't know, like for say the season that we had, like I got like Cyclizar and Orthworm. Like I don't know, I usually try and find like
Yeah.
one move or ability that I think is like super good or like a high priority,
Uh-huh.
and then like build a team around that. And just as the draft goes, I more so look at my type coverage defensively,
Yeah.
and just have like I want to make sure that the Pokemon that I do pick, like it'll like the teams will like piece itself together as the draft goes. Like, oh crap, like say I need like special attacker, or like, oh, like my defense is really lacking.
Mhm.
Like I try and make sure that whatever can fill that spot fills the type coverage, and then also I really like versatility, or
Right.
at least like I don't know, picking Pokemon that you wouldn't necessarily fit into specific roles. You want that to happen in draft league. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's it's not like the greatest strategy, but yeah, I just like that's usually how I go about it. So
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's like a super relatable process for a lot of people, honestly. I know people like DJ as we've gotten through the seasons toward the back end of all the leagues that we played in, kind of just like picks and grabs. He's like, yeah, that'd be funny. But, you know, some people have more analytical approaches too. I know, Josh, you have a pretty good process for yours too, that's like kind of similar to Garrett's, but like a little bit further. So
Yeah,
you
I when I draft, I kind of look at like one or two mons that I'm really interested in using in the format.
Mhm.
So for whatever kind of tier list we're looking at, or whatever kind of batch of picks that we're grabbing, I try and just grab one or two that I'm really stoked to use, and then lean into their strengths, right? So
Yeah.
um like for this season, Tentacruel, I mean, it's a little different, right? Just
Yeah.
because of the pack format. But if you took away the packs and we're doing just a straight draft, like this season, I took Tentacruel as my number one pick, right? And that was high speed, high special defense, kind of fits that like physically defensive role on the team, and then I kind of just build from there, right? So if I have a defensive mon, I want to make sure that I bring in offense on the other side, right?
Mhm.
Or like I want to make sure that I'm kind of equally spread in all of my stats and my type chart as much as I can. So
Sure.
if there is if I'm halfway through a draft and I've got three physical attackers and one physical defense mon, probably want to start picking special offense or defense.
Yeah.
And if I'm constantly looking at the type chart as I go through the draft, And if I've got a big rock weakness, you want to make sure that you either pick up a resistance or at the very least like don't add to that weakness. So
Yeah.
you just kind of make sure that you've got all your roles figured out. Typically physical offense, special offense, physical and special defense. And then like I kind of give like a fifth category is like I really love the utility mons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, something that might not be like a rock star in one of those kind of 4 basic roles, but like something like a jump luff that can like do
So
a lot with
Mm-hmm.
just its move pool and be just kind of that like utility Swiss Army knife kind of Pokemon.
Right.
I love drafting like 1 or 2 of those every season.
Yeah, for sure. No, I fully agree with both of you, and that's kind of how my process goes too. Like Garrett touched a little bit on it, but the biggest thing that I look for when I'm drafting is versatility. Like right now, like I'll use my like Ubers League as an example. Like I use a Groudon, right? And I could like Assault Vest the Groudon one week. I could Choice Scarf it the next week. I ran Special Eruption Groudon like for a week, and it picked up like 4 kills. You could do like SD. You could do like a Loaded Dice Rock Blast set. Like, so when I'm looking at a mon, I like when I think of it is like if I bring this mon to a game, I don't want my opponent to have any idea what it's supposed to do. So it's like I tend to stay away from mons like I don't know, like Slurpuff, for instance, where it's like it's just gonna belly drum and eat a citrus berry and be an unburden sweeper, right? So it's like you know that there's like an 80% chance that that's gonna happen. Like anytime the mon touches the field, like another example of that is like I don't know, like a Rampardos is always going to be offensive, or you guys get the idea.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I like versatility. So like when I look at a draft, so what I've done for this upcoming season is this is the biggest point system we've ever used. It goes from 19 all the way down to 1. So I went through each of the point totals and I just jotted down a few of the Pokemon that I like thought would be really fun to use. And then I kind of pick and choose between like type matchups and stuff and like how versatile they are, and then kind of build at least the first 2 or 3 Pokemon out. And then afterwards it's like, well, I had this on my list and I think it actually fits, and then I kind of just roll with it just in case something gets sniped from me and those sort of things too. And so, but yeah, no, it's cool to see how everybody approaches it, because I think we all approach it similarly, but also in a very, very different way as well. Also, get speed and hazard removal.
Correct.
I don't know. I'm not like big on the speed. I feel like I just try it. Like I need like a psychic and a grass type. I feel like I always need a psychic type. I don't know why. I just feel like mandatory.
I like speed and natural bulk. I want stuff that takes hits but deals hits out. You know what I mean? Not like Avalugg, who's just kind of sitting there.
Hey, don't diss that thing. That thing's scary, man.
Thing's a monster. But anyway, yeah, no, it's a really good explanation from you guys. Thanks. Josh, do you have a question that you've thought of at all?
Would love a little insight on how you guys prepare from week to week.
Oh, okay. I could go first. So it's varied from season to season. Last season in particular, like towards the end of the playoffs, I was getting a little sweaty into it. But so what I do is I have just like a tiny little like Google sheet, and I write down all of the Pokemon that my opponent has, and I write down their speed tiers, and that's about it now. So like I do what's called like Chinese EV spreads every week, where basically like I might be giving myself away here, but I speed creep people all the time. Like if I don't need max speed in something, I'm not running max speed. I will upcut you by a single point so I can throw it somewhere else. So that's a big thing. And then it's like sometimes I throw my opponent's team into like the Maryland type chart, or like now our team sheets that we have on the actual spreadsheet does all of that for us. So I think that those were a really, really solid addition to everything. But So I'll look at that. It's like when I play DJ, like 6 of his Pokemon are weak to Ice Beam. So it's like I'm gonna run like probably a fast Pokemon with an Ice type move. So it's about kind of just finding the speed tiers are the biggest part, and then the type weaknesses. And then I also try and jot down now, because it's happened to me too many times now. Uh, what mons have the biggest setup potential, and how do I deal with it when it comes? You know, so it's I don't know. It's a combination. It varies from opponent to opponent. Sometimes I just bring funny, wacky stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this could probably work. But I like to take my time, break things down a little bit, spend like an hour or two, kind of just like analyzing and how I can throw together something that's good. So that's kind of my answer to that.
Hmm. Yeah, it depends for me. Like the stakes of each game, like I don't know, like going through depending on like if it's like a must win versus like, you know, if I'm like sitting in a pretty good spot like during the season or whatnot. Playoffs is like a whole different thing. Each one of those games I go like pretty deep. In terms of like prep week to week, yeah, like it'll depend. Like mostly I try and focus in on threats that they like teams like to bring from week to week. Like if I can tell a team has like a favorite in that season, I'll make sure to really really try and prepare for every type of set that they might want to run with that, as well as like having like answers for it in case it wants to set up. Like I don't know, for instance, it might get the better of me sometimes because like I like to overthink and like go into things like into like okay, but like what if he does this and like what if he does this and
Right.
like I'm probably like behind inside Pokemon like the damage calculator, like seeing different instances like okay, what if he's like +2 bulk up and like I'm like here,
Hmm.
like I'll go like that far, like at least try and just, like play out in my head like
Be
different
prepared for a
scenarios
bad
that might
bad
happen
situation. Hmm.
in the middle of a game. Yeah. So I don't know. But then other times, like I'll just sort of focus in, like say too hard on like one Pokemon, say versus Celia City King Gambits here. I was just like, I need something for like Berserker and things like that. But then like I don't know, other Pokemon that he had, which were also like really good threats, just like completely blindsided me. Like Hypno, who knew that thing would just be like a huge tank and just be so solid. But yeah, other than that, I do a little bit of speed creeping like you do. But yeah, I just a little bit like you said, I like to really check out their favorites and see like any of their setup potential, like how I'm gonna stop that. So that's usually how I go
Sure.
with it. So
Yeah. Cool. Josh, what about you?
I do pretty similar stuff to kind of like what you guys have talked about. Definitely like I spend a lot of time looking at like the damage calculator and like looking at which move sets are going to do the best for the matchup. Definitely looking at like the type chart and like what each set is going to need the most. Some weeks I have a game plan of like I want to get Hazard stacked up and I want to make that kind of like my main offensive plan, or maybe I'll have a particular Pokemon that can set up or just has a really good matchup just with like slapping on a good item and doing a bunch of damage. But a lot of it is just looking at the damage calculator, figuring out the best coverage possible for the team. Always making sure I have at least one physical attacker, one special attacker, just so I don't get walled out by somebody who brings a Steelix and clicks Iron Defense twice, and then takes 5% damage from everything on my team. So I always want to make sure that I have both physical and special covered on both the offensive and the defensive side. And then the other two mons are kind of just like, hey, what gives me the most utility, the most setup, the most support, and just kind of fill in the roles as I can. And then definitely, yeah, like speed creep if I can. Um, you know, figure out the best EV spread possible, and just kind of make the math do everything that I can, like really hone in on like what is my win condition, and then try and build the team that gives me the best way to accomplish it.
Sure.
that's awesome. I usually like just making like one Pokemon at least just be like the fun experiment set for the week too.
Yeah,
It's always
sure.
fun to do.
Definitely. I fully agree. No, that's a really good insight. I really like that. Who are we to? Is it back to Garrett? Garrett's question if he has one?
Mm-hmm.
Hit us with it, Garrett. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to, just not just to go, back at Coach Jkkayy. I want to know what's in the mind, here behind the Goldenrod Radio Rockets on completing an undefeated regular season
Mhm.
in
Oh my
this.
God.
And like, I just want to know like your thoughts going in, keeping a level head, or like how you're feeling about the season and what's to come in the postseason here.
So,
I just want to point
sorry,
out
go ahead, Noah.
really quick. Let me bring up the sheet really quick because I want to make sure that I get this right. Every single one of Josh's wins has been by 3-0 or 3, a 2, or a 1-0. So every game has been so consistently like actually close, but you always find a way to get through it and like and clinch the dub, sir. So yeah, take it away.
So okay, this season has been really fun just from a team building perspective because we are, like we didn't get to pick every single mon on our team, right? We had to kind of deal with, the week to week swaps and also like the pack rerolls and stuff for like, getting batches of threes. So I have kind of taken the mindset that I was just gonna win and bring the best 6 months every week that I could for the situation. Just prep like normal. I didn't try and get too cute with it and be like, oh, well, if I win, I want good stuff, or like I want bad stuff for my opponent to steal, or like I don't want to give them my good stuff. Um, I kind of said, screw that. And I just said, I'm going to bring the best team I can. I'm not going to hold back. And if, something gets stolen, I'm confident enough in my team building ability to adjust from week to week. So when I lose a Nido Queen, a Swallow, a Kilowattrel back to back to back, I can kind of take a look at that and say, okay, here's what I lost. This is what I gained. How can I make it work, or what do I need to do to adjust and adapt? Um, you're right. The games have been super like consistently close. I've looked at this team that I've had, and like I've got some really really solid pieces, but nothing that's ever gonna really like just blow somebody out, right? Like I'm not gonna have the setup potential to be able to just get like a 4 or 5-0 sweep. So it's been, looking week to week on like how can I grind out victories and make sure that I don't get swept myself. And then just kind of building around that kind of a little bit more of a defensive mindset, but still, figuring out, okay, here's the matchup. If they're going to send something in, this is my answer. And just kind of always building teams around having an answer for whatever my opponent is bringing. And then, like I said, deal with the swaps from week to week and the steals. Just deal with it and don't let it affect you too bad. I have used my 2 pack rerolls, and I think using free agency to kind of adjust has been a huge help. Even though it hasn't been as like targeted as in seasons past, I think like taking a chance and just making sure I'm using the resources that I have. And I ended up with a pretty baller team at the end of this season. And
agree.
with my one free agent swap here going into playoffs, I think I'm going to be able to actually bring like a really scary 10 to the first round of playoffs. So I think for me, it's just been bring the best team you can. Don't worry about stuff being stolen. Just deal with it and adapt. And look for creative ways to use mons in a way that's like, we're kind of working with like a lower tier overall, so it's finding stuff in like mons that you wouldn't normally be like, oh yeah, that's really really good. Like Avalug has been sweet. Stantler has been the team MVP. Like who I would have never in a million years drafted Stantler willingly, but it's like been so good. And like just making sure that you protect the things that are working when you can, and when you can't, just being flexible and not being too upset about losing all of your offense this season.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. One little follow-up question for that. Do you feel any added pressure going into postseason stuff, like being an undefeated team? Because it's like, in my opinion, at least, I feel like, there's always going to be like the one or two teams to beat, and I think you kind of fit the description of it. So do you feel any like added pressure going in with the perfect like record at all?
I mean, a little bit. I was like really. I went back and forth, especially in week 6 when it was kind of like a game that didn't matter for me. I was like, you could just throw and like lose and like get it over with, and then like not have that like, oh, you're undefeated, like you haven't lost a game yet. And I was like, well, I could just go into playoffs and not have that be a thing at all. But then the more I thought about it, it was like, no, that's stupid. Like, going into playoffs, you want to be playing your best and you want to be at a point where you are winning. And win streaks build your confidence. They make you feel better about your team composition and your prep and your abilities overall. So yeah, there is a little bit of extra pressure, but this entire season has been like just fun for me. Like it's I didn't have to play in the group of death, which was definitely helpful. But like
Yours was
I've
still
just,
really competitive though at the
it
end.
was like Aaron and Hoop gave me a run for my money, and like Sean could beat anybody on any given week. So it's he didn't have that great of a season this time around, but like he's still a super respectable opponent. So I just tried to stay loose and not get the pressure of like, oh hey, you're on a win streak, you're undefeated, going
Yeah.
into playoffs number 1, broke the curse. I think it's a confidence booster more than a kind of like a thing to be scared of.
Sure. Yeah, no, I really value the insight. I feel like, obviously you haven't lost a game for a reason. So it's like people are going to give you their best effort too, which I think is always really, really fun. So just a small follow up on this question. So for my question to the two of you, this season in general has been a very large step outside the box of what we're normally used to. So I just want kind of like, what's your general feedback to how the season worked with the randomness, the pack rerolls, the stealing aspect? Is that something that you guys enjoyed? And if we do something like in the future with like some wacky rule sets or whatever, is that something that you'd be down for again? Or do you prefer more of just the traditional format?
This was such a breath of fresh air. I loved it. It reminded me of like just like Hearthstone arena draft. Like it was
Yeah.
so good. It's like lightweight. You didn't have to go like too hard into like prepping your team. And like Josh was saying with how he was navigating this season, like you just gotta win with what you got, which is almost nice. But it's like still consistent that you can keep it throughout the seasons or
Yeah.
throughout the game weeks. So I don't know. Plus like the stealing and stuff. I don't know. I really enjoyed it this season. At least it was a nice change up, and like, yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun.
Good. Glad to hear.
I totally agree. I was like a little skeptical when we first talked about it, but the more and like after week 1, I was like sold. I was like, this is so cool. Like I love the concept. I think this kind of a format especially forces you to be a good team builder, and that's been fun to see what people have been able to come up with. And like I like when rosters change and people have to make adjustments or get to make adjustments. So it's not just like, hey, I drafted this team in week 1 and I played with the same 6 mons the entire season. Like that gets boring. So it was kind of a cool way to do a nice little palate cleanser before like season 11, where I think just from hearing and talking to a couple people, like season 11 is going to get really try hard, I think. And I'm excited for that. Like I love the ultra competitive seasons. But like this season has been really fun, really cool to step outside of comfort zone and like do something, a little different. And we've
Right.
seen some really cool teams come out of it. So
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because it's like, for me, like I never anticipated that like starting it and doing it in season 1 that it would be just like a regular thing that we just continue to do. And I see it as a fun little challenge for me too, because like I want to step up my game as a quote unquote like commissioner, and like I want want fun new ideas that keep people involved in it, you know? So it's like even something as small as like doing the team sheets. Like I've had at least 4 or 5 people like individually DM me and say, "Hey, thank you so much for making those because they make prepping for teams so much easier and so much more fun." And I was like, that's awesome to hear. And I think it's aesthetically pleasing to see too. And it's like trying to think of formats and stuff. And this season, like with it being number 10, I really just wanted it to be something crazy, like, you know, as a little bit of a celebration. So the draft went like super fast. I will admit, doing the team sheets when the teams change every single week is a bit tedious. So I am excited for that to hopefully be a bit more set in stone next season because everything will be a little more consistent. But no, it's really good to hear that you guys enjoyed it, and I think almost everybody did as well. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to get the positive feedback. It's like the only other time that we really went like outside the box, so to speak, was when we did like Little Cup in season 6, and now this, and both experiments have been overwhelmingly successful. So hopefully, you know, when we try something new the next time, whatever season that is, that it goes well too. But I also agree, next season I feel like it's gonna get really sweaty, and
I'm here for
and
it,
I'm
man.
actually kind of
I'm
here for it. I'm going like I have revenge on the mind now, dude.
I'm gonna draft both Tauruses.
No,
I
I'm
was
not.
kidding.
I got the third pick or whatever though, so I got some fun ideas that I want to try out. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think also just like one final note on that. I think the competitiveness of every season gets like the skill gap of everybody gets closer and closer and closer every single time. And
Oh,
that is
absolutely.
the best part for me because it's like teams that like when we started out were struggling and that didn't win very often are like now really pushing people. So I love the aspect that anything can happen, and like when you go into a playoff bracket when you have 8 teams and you have no idea which one of them's going to win, like having 8 people all have an equal chance of winning the whole thing, I think is just really, really healthy, and it's really, really fun too. So yeah, very, very nice. We're back to Garretless. We could do like one more round of questions and then we could probably call it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. I'll just ask an open-ended question and be like, what was your? I would say like, what was your favorite format that has happened? And follow up, what format would you like to see happen or
Ooh,
like
okay.
upcoming?
All right. Okay. Favorite format we've done, and then the favorite or like an idea for
An
something that
idea,
would be
yeah,
fun.
an
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, because I always like ideas. I always ask people, it's like, what do you think would be like a fun idea for like this season or next season or like a few down the road? So yeah, no, it's a good question. I'll let Josh answer it first.
Okay. My favorite season, and this kind of leads into also my answer for part 2. My favorite seasons have been the ones where we've used these lower tier mons, like the season 4 or
Yep.
6 or
Four was
yeah,
Gen 8 PU, I believe.
yeah, like that was such a cool season. Like it was just really really cool to use mons that we typically don't see in like the big competitive draft leagues out there. So it was neat to use some ones that were like, normally you look at like a, I don't know, like a dreadnought and think, oh, this thing is
Yeah.
pretty terrible, like it's
Right.
not worth even looking at for 2 seconds. And then like in a lower tier league, it's like, oh wow, this is like,
A threat.
yeah, it's like something that I actually have to respect and like you know, think about in a way that is cool for team building and for other stuff. So I really like that kind of a season, and I think it would be cool for part 2 of your question if we did like a not fully evolved season.
Ooh. Yep.
And did like, we've done Little Cup, we're about to do like OU
Everything.
out, yeah, like everything.
Everything.
It would be cool to kind of like split the difference and
Uh-huh.
get to be like, okay, like Charmeleon is like the top tier fire Pokemon in this draft, or
Hmm.
you know, like the I don't know, like just being able to look at, again, kind of like mons that we don't typically think of,
Hmm.
and then watch like Speed Boost Combuskin go through and wreck house or something like
Yeah,
that. Like I
sure.
think NFE would be a super cool draft to do.
Hmm. No, that's a good. I've heard NFE from a few people now, so obviously I will never ever spoil seasons in advance, but I will say it's on the radar potentially for some time in the near future because I think that that would be really fun too. Um, my favorite format. It's been interesting. Um, DJ, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Doubles was just so so interesting, but just really tough. And I just feel like I'm kind of starting this question with a little bit of a backwards answer, but like I am at least happy that we gave doubles a pretty honest effort, not once
Yeah.
but twice, because I think we were really able to like hash out what people really want to do, and I think we're a very singles oriented group. um, sorry, DJ,
Me
but
quick button.
yeah, but 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 no, I like every season that we've done, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I don't think that there's ever been a season that I didn't enjoy. I think that like when we did the random lottery league in season 8, like that was pretty crazy to do. Um, but my favorite one, hmm, I don't know. That's such a good question. Uh, I kind of want to say that like season 2 was one of my favorites
Yeah, mine too.
because we went from having 8 people. Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
no, we went from having like 8 people and we doubled it, and we had 16 people. I mean, we did the same format, like quote unquote format, as season 1, but we got rid of like some of the really broken stuff like Magirna, which never should have been on a team in the season 1.
Oof, that was tough.
And then, but like there was still access to like some really powerful stuff like Zapdos, Thundurus, like all of those mons were still like really big threats. Like Column was just popping off with Curse every week, and you know, like we were wondering, is Nate ever gonna play a game on time? like
Yeah.
but I thought that that was when we like actually like got a foothold with what we do, and you know, it's where it was like, wow, there's a lot of people that really enjoy doing this and something that we should like continue to keep doing. So I really enjoyed that. I also really enjoy the lower tier leagues too, because it always gives the mons that we don't normally see, um, gives them a time to shine, so to speak. But as far as a format that I would like to do, oh man, there are so many possibilities, aren't there? There was an idea brought up last season, and I don't know if it's a good idea. I'm gonna base this idea on how fun it sounds, not on how practical it is. If it's just as a disclaimer.
Fair.
So there was an idea brought up that I asked about last season, and it was the idea of doing a tag team season where you partner up with another person, and you basically everything is the same, but it's 2 people making the decisions instead of one. I think that that could be really interesting. Obviously, that presents some issues of like one person doing all the work, kind of like school project kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But I think that that could be really interesting, or like some format where you know you have to adapt a little bit more to the people you're playing with. I think could be kind of interesting. Again, don't know how practical that is, but I think that that could be pretty fun in the right situation.
What do you get?
Um, okay, my favorite format that's happened in the past. Who? I'm probably gonna have to go with. Okay, I'm gonna say this season has been my
Mm-hmm.
favorite.
Cool.
I think the format is just like the lower tiers is nice. I don't know. I really liked the whole drafting system and the stealing, just the whole aspect of like even if you lose or you win, like there's a
Hmm.
piece of the teams that you play along the way that
Yeah.
like impacts your team and gives everyone like a cool identity. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see. Remember that Pokemon like Barbarical, just shuffling around teams all over
Yeah.
the place, like
Uh,
just things like that, like oh, or like seeing your former team members like just on different squads, like
mhm.
I don't know. It's cool for that aspect, and but definite runner up was Little Cup. I thought that was so
Right.
fun.
Hmm.
It was just like you never think of using those Pokemon ever.
Yeah.
So like, cause yeah, so I don't know. Given those little tykes shot was cool. In terms of formats, I'd maybe like to see as like potential ideas. I think would be fun to do. Would be
Hmm.
like a lower tiered monotype. I want to do monotype so bad.
Hmm.
Like really lean into dinosaur damage and just
Uh-huh.
like give him the rock team that he deserves. You know,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
just like I don't know. I think a monotype season would be kind of cool, and like there'd be the obvious discrepancies, like oh, this team's going up against an electric team, but like
Hmm.
other than that, like I think it could be quite fun.
Yeah. No, monotypes cross the horizon a few times as well. And that's an interesting way to do that because maybe when we do monotypes, it's not like a full draft, but you kind of just have access to like a list of Pokemon, so to speak. You know, to
Yeah.
make some of those bad matchups, like you say, like a little less polarizing. Like
Hmm.
like for instance, if you're like mono fire going into like mono rock, but it's like, oh, there's a Pokemon called Volcanion that exists, you know, like so there's
Right.
like some really cool counters and stuff there too. But yeah, no, that's a really really good answer as well. Man, we've come so far. um,
We really
so
have.
so my question. This is kind of a multi-layered question. Okay, so I'm gonna try and keep all my facts straight here. So I want to know from each of you, who is your favorite person to play against, and who are you most scared of when you play them?
Oh, this is such a good question.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay.
if you want as well, um, tell me also like somebody's play style that you really like admire or that you think is really cool if you want.
Okay.
So like it's,
I'm gonna need a minute on this,
yeah,
or
no,
like a little
I
bit.
can kind of give my answer first and you guys can kind of think about it. So
Okay.
for that third part of the question, I think Ryan's playstyle is absolutely batshit crazy. I think that Ryan
Yeah.
plays so aggressive and it like always seems to work out for him. Like I might be a little biased because he started an APDL final against me with Terra Steel, Adrenaline Orb, like Swords Dance Halucha, and then went right into like setup with another mon. Like Ryan loves his setup mons and just goes straight like Smash Mouth each week, which I think is just absolutely wild. But I really like his play style for sure. My favorite person to play against. Ooh, that's a tough question, actually. Now that I think about it, um, I there are two people that I really like playing a lot. I obviously like playing Josh a lot, just because we have kind of the sibling rivalry, and we're actually split dead even. I think we're 4-4 against each other, so
Incredible.
there's always bragging rights there. And then I also always love playing against uh, Peyton. Peyton's always really, really fun. I feel like we have really, really close games and we always have like really, really good banter. I love playing against absolutely everybody. There's like nobody that I dislike playing against. As far as the person that I'm most scared of when I play, um, I would have to say, ironically enough, it's Quincy, but at the end of the season, Quincy. I feel it.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
Yeah.
feel that.
feel like Quincy improve like start always gets off to like a little bit of a slow start, but always like by the time he's getting to like week 4, week 5, week 6, he's like finally hit his stride, and he's always so like smart and plays to his odds really well. So I'm always scared of playing Quincy, especially when it's later in the season. But I have a really fun time against him. But that's my answer.
Those are some. That's some solid answers. I that's funny you say that about Edol's play style. It is
Mm.
like it's
It's
just so
so
right off the
aggressive.
bat. Oh man.
Either one of you guys have an answer yet?
Yeah, I guess I can go.
Okay.
So I number one, I like kind of a dual answer here, just because I will agree. I love when you and I get to play against each other, Noah.
Yeah.
It's always a super competitive game. The sibling rivalry is definitely there. It kind of seems like our games whenever we play, our teams are both kind of in the mix, or like it's both a season where we're like both doing well.
Yeah.
Um, so like definitely like the cop out answer is like playing you, but I really love playing against Peyton as well. I think he's just like a challenging opponent to prep for,
Yeah.
but it's not like challenging to where I'm like terrified to play the game. It's like, man, I really have to be on my A game or like I'm gonna lose.
Right.
And it's like the teams that he brings are always really cool, and like I feel like I have a pretty good track record against him. He's definitely beat me a couple of times, but overall, I feel like it's a fun game. They're always competitive, and I have been able to kind of be on the winning side of it. Usually, not always, but it's felt good to win those games. It feels like I earned it when you get those wins.
Yeah.
Garrett, I hate playing you. I want to avoid you at all cost. It's you just find ways to bring stuff that
Togedemaru.
Togedemaru, set up Chansey, like, or not Chansey, Clefable. Like I have nightmares about like, oh, what setup thing is Garrett gonna bring that I'm not prepared for because it's so weird that nobody in their right mind would think for it. Now I'm just gonna get swept because of it. It is so difficult to prep against you just because you think so differently than everybody else in the league. And it's like, man, it like a win against Garrett is like enough for the season. I feel like I can walk away. I'm good. And it feels so good to beat you. But
Big
I
kudos.
definitely like playoffs coming up here. I hope to God I don't see you until the championship.
Thank you. That's so
Better
great.
yet, I hope somebody beats you and I don't have to play you at all.
That's so fair.
From a place
That's
of
awesome.
love.
in the most respectful and like
No, I know. That's so
how do you
funny.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna I'll start off my answers by saying I love playing you, Josh. So good. I just like freaking you out. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like I just like bringing. I gotta try something every time, just because like you said, it's funny. Um, Same thing with like, I'm gonna say probably like Noah, Noah and DJ are like frightening to play against, and now suddenly Edol.
He's kind of had your number lately.
Yeah, I'm not really stoked to play him. Not like in the like bad way. I just meant like he's definitely just like destroyed me, and he's just like, oh, it's so the games are always so intense. I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say like besides a couple matchups against you, Josh, definitely playing against Sean is always a doozy.
Sure.
No matter how prepared you think you are against Sean, just his play style, and if he just decides that week to just meddle in some unconventional weird weakness policy hitmonchan, like I don't know, like just
Yeah.
the weirdest stuff that like you don't think like anyone would run, but that he tends to do it. And then hoop, I want to say those games are always like very, I don't know, he like you say about his games, he doesn't really play, he doesn't make very many mistakes.
He's
And
very
so
consistent.
playing against him is just like, yeah, when you win against Hoop, you feel like you definitely went through a battle, and it just, I don't know, it's like winning a good chess game or something against Hoop. It feels good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um yeah, Noah, you're kind of scary. And then, oh my gosh, DJ was the bane of my existence for the first
First
part of
3 seasons
APDL.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he always, and he's still to this day, he's just having a fun time goofing,
Mm.
and I'm like just stressing.
Yeah.
It's so
Right.
funny.
It almost feels a
Uh,
little bit worse to lose to him now.
exactly.
uh,
In terms of like my favorite play style, um, I like the defensiveness of your game, Josh, but I feel like my favorite play style is probably I want to say I want to say Hoop. He plays
mhm,
like a very like I don't know. He has like a very he has some unconventional
mhm,
strategies. He like leans in the trick room, things like that. He likes like the very bulky, unconventional ways of winning, which is
mhm.
kind of cool. He just finds offense on things you wouldn't traditionally think are offensive. So
Yeah,
I
for
like the
sure.
way that he navigates.
Nice. Good answers all around. I like it. All right, Josh. You got one question left.
All right. I want to know your favorite Pokemon you've ever drafted and
Oh,
and used in APDL.
oh man.
I'll go first.
Uh-huh.
Um, Whimsicott.
I knew it.
Of course.
I knew it. I knew it.
I love Whimsicott so much. That thing is broken. It's so good. I love it. Oh my gosh. That first PU season, Prankster, Fairy, Tailwind. Oh, I don't know. I just love grass types. I love Jumpluff. And as soon as they got priority on like Leech Seed and subs, oh, just a nuisance. One of my
Hmm.
favorite Pokemon to use ever. Close second was Chinchino in season one with Skill Link and just
Hmm.
tail slapping and rock blasting. I love that. But definitely Whimsicott is like a go-to.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's fun. I like that. Ah, God, I this is such a hard question. I'm trying to remember like each season what I had. Um, man.
If you need a minute, I know mine.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So mine absolutely would be Kingdra from season
I
two.
was gonna guess that too.
Ooh.
It was just like such a freaking cool thing to have on the team just because it was such a threat. And like I could run the physical set. I could also run the special set. Obviously, like that was what I went with the most. But it was just like so cool to like build a team around it first and
Hmm.
foremost. Like I saw okay, Swift Swim and just a stupid good attacker. Like this is something that I drafted like three mons that to really like support it, and it won me a championship. So it's kind of got a special place in my heart,
Hmm.
and it was definitely like something that I would love to maybe go back to at some point.
Sure.
That
Good
thing was a
answer.
beast.
That thing was a
Yeah.
monster, dude. Okay, I have a couple answers
Okay.
because it's hard for me to pick. So, ironically, uh, when we did Little Cup, I freaking loved Skiddo. I think Skiddo was so funny. And I brought Surf Skiddo against Garrett the first week, and I
Oh
just
my gosh.
it was so. Oh, it just like, man,
It destroyed me.
I loved Skiddo. He's such a little dude. You know what I mean? But apart from that, oh man, just piecing through seasons. A lot, the two that really stick out to me, and it might just be like recency bias, to be honest. One of them was drafted, one of them I picked up in free agency, but Galarian Weezing, surprisingly,
Yeah.
was like
Yeah,
really, really cool. Just
you
because
like him.
you could do so many different things with it. You know, it's like you could hazard stack, you could go like choice specs with it. And then like Terra adaptability on Porygon Z
Oh my
was like
gosh.
Yeah.
like Porygon Z was so fun and so broken for no reason. Like it's so fun. But I really enjoyed those, and like having Hydreigon this last season was like one of my favorite Pokemon too. Like my team that I ended the last season with was one of my favorites that I've ever used. Um, so I was really thrilled with that. And then like this season too, like for Alligator as a bro, like I loved using for Alligator. I thought that it had like a lot of really good versatility and stuff. But it's hard to pick one from above above them all. My favorite mon I've actually used in draft, ironically, is one that I use in the other draft league that I'm playing in. I love Mew. Mew is just the Swiss Army knife of Pokemon, right? Like it just does everything. You can do absolutely anything with it. So I think it's really cool. I had a half the thought to draft it next season, but I always try and use stuff that I haven't used before.
Yeah, true.
Because I think it's just more fun that way. You know, I never try and pick something up that I've used before. So I'm really, really stoked with that. One quick question, if you guys don't mind. I know it's getting late.
Yeah.
But one send off question. Give me, it doesn't have to be your absolute favorite, but one of the most memorable games that you've played.
I forget, it was season 1, I think. Season 1 or 2, my like 100 turn game.
Oh, where you regenerator stalled Harry?
Yeah. Yeah. That
With Tango
like,
Slowbro.
out of everything, that was definitely like one of my favorites.
I remember that game. Oh, and Crocodile Living Energy Ball from Alakazam.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely wild.
The emotional highs and lows of one game, just like, and then having to focus for 100 turns, like,
yeah,
it
it's
was
a lot.
It's not the longest APDL game ever, but man, it felt like it took an eternity.
Yeah, no kidding. No, that's a good answer. I remember that. Garrett, can you think of one?
I have one and a runner-up.
Okay, let's hear it.
My favorite game for me was season 5 championship against Hoop, when I totally prepped and baited out create all weakness policy.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, it was that moment when like the plan works like way too well.
Plan. Yeah.
It was like, yes, time for this thing to pop off.
Yeah.
And then as soon as rock polish went off, I don't know, it was just like, I felt so good. Runner up game is actually against you, when it was a super close game in the
was it season 4 with the pincer?
You had the pincer reverse. You had the
Salicberry
Endure.
reversal with Endure.
Yeah. Oh, that was the most like Uno reversed I've ever been. It
Even
was
named
so
the pincer
sick.
Uno. I remember. No.
Oh, that was hype.
That was gonna be one of my. I had 2 answers, and ironically, they're against the 2 of you. But that game with the pincer and stuff was just like, oh, it was so cool. That was my Claydol moment with pincer. I was like, this can actually work, please. And then Josh, when you and I played in season 2, and you fire blasted with your Garchomp and killed my Rillaboom. And that came down like all the way to the end, and I was the only person to beat you that season. That game was stupid fun too. Shout out to Gastrodon, an absolute homie. But yeah. no, this was a really fun little episode, guys. I feel like, you know, obviously it's late, but I feel like we could have talked forever about this kind of stuff. But
for sure.
But yeah, no. Thanks for listening, everybody. Pretty cut and dry. No weird transitions or mailbag or anything today, but, you know, just some good old-fashioned vibe time with me and the boys. So if you guys are interested, you can submit in the mail submissions what your favorite APDL memories or some things and questions that you have, and maybe we'll read them next time. Maybe we'll do a podcast episode before like 5 months are up. But again, thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you as always. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.